Yeah, hello and welcome to ConWorxx Day 2. So ConWorxx continuing, and I'm having another wonderful guest here. It's designer Evan Halbert. So Evan, how are you?
Hey, good. Good evening
Yeah,
over
yeah, but
there.
but for you, what is the local time? You're living in the US, right?
Yeah. On the West Coast, it's 10:15 in the morning
So early in the
after a
morning.
very late night. Yeah.
So this is the second time already today that I'm disturbing someone in the US and who's saying, "Well, I had a late night." So thank you so much that you have time on a Saturday early in the morning, and I know that it will be a busy or a packed day for you anyway. So yeah.
Yes, but it's my pleasure to be here.
So thank you very much. This is very kind. But Evan, please give us some background of yourself. Who is the person, Evan? I mentioned that you are a designer. What are you
Yeah.
doing for a living or in the gaming world?
Well, to pay the bills right now, I'm a chiropractor. So I crack backs, and I also own a coffee shop. And then I'm also a board game designer. The first title that came out is After the Empire by Gray Fox Games. It came out a year or two ago, and we just did a reprint. And I got to design my first solo mode. That was fun. And then, of course, we have lots of other games in the works, but one of my ones that I'm most excited about coming up happens to be with one Uli Blinman.
Yeah, so I've heard about this a little bit, and this really at this moment here is an announcement. So this is the first time this will go out. So Spielworks will do the board game version of the video game Endzone: A World Apart, and this is officially licensed by Assemble Entertainment, a German company, and the game is developed by Gently Mad Studios. So Spielworks will do this, and I will put in the chat here the Steam link to the video game so that people who are interested may check out the video game, which is pretty successful and commercially and not commercially but critically and
Mhm.
commercially. So, and Evan, of course, that's why he is here. Of course, he's also here because he's a wonderful person, but he's the designer of this board game version of Endzone: A World Apart. And please tell us a little bit more about the game, but maybe you start. What is the world of Endzone?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, so obviously this was not created by me. This was created by Gently Mad Studio and Matthias over there and his team. But so obviously humans sometimes aren't the best to each other and to the environment, and we in this world have happened to made it uninhabitable for ourselves, and we had a nuclear fallout, and we basically survived uh, like ants in a bunker for 150 years, and then the remains of humanity are finally ready to work together uh, because maybe we've learned a lesson. Yes, and it's time to work together to come up on the surface now that we mostly is survivable on the surface. The radiation levels have come down a lot, but there are still some issues there. And then we come up on the surface and we find a janky old bus, and we kind of use that as our little home base, and then we kind of find the perfect spot to start our new civilization, and that's where the game begins.
Yes, so that is the background to the world what we are experiencing or what we have experienced before the game starts. And so, of course, and we will talk about this a little bit later. It's not easy to have a video game and then transform it into a board game. What are you
Yes.
doing in the board game? So in your design, what are players are doing?
Yeah, so in the game, players are basically starting from scratch because we just came out of the end zones, the little bunkers, and you are taking tiles that you will lay onto a map, and working together to create the different things that you'll need. You'll need to have a way of getting water from the lake. You might want to fish from the lake. If you want to create some clothing that incorporates some coal so that you can filter some of the toxic air, then you'll need a tailor who can do that, and all of these sorts of things.
Yeah,
Where
yeah. Please continue, Em.
Yeah, you just, so you're laying these tiles down, and you're trying to do it in a way that is efficient. So, and you don't want too much industry near where people are living, because they want to be happy and not listening to, clanking and things like that. Because as you're going out and collecting all this old ruins and scrap and things that you're repurposing and turning into your new society, because those are the raw materials you have to work with. A little bit of wood, a little bit of water, some food, and some scraps from from what came before. And you're using all these things. So you want to keep your industry away from where people are living, so it's nice and beautiful there. And so you're kind of working. There's a bit of a spatial puzzle where you're working to keep those things away from where people are living, but you don't want to go too far outside of the growing town, or you'll become less efficient at doing those things because people have to travel farther to get to them.
Yes, yes, that's an interesting aspect of, for sure. So please give us some basics. Is this how many players? The playing time, and please note this game is still in design, so
Yes.
some things can and will change. And also, is this a competitive game? Is it
Mhm.
cooperative? Is it semi-cooperative? So some
Mhm.
basics, please.
Mhm. Mhm. We so it is a 60 to 90 minute tile placement game, for 2 to 4 players. Although I'm currently testing it a lot solo, so who knows? Maybe that will be an actual thing in the box too. But right now, 2 to 4 players, semi-cooperative, which means, of course, that we have to work together, so that we don't all, uh, not make it, so that we all can make it. But some people can do better than others, and but mostly you have to work together. And tile laying game. There's a row of event cards, because the big, conflict in the game is with the environment that we've destroyed,
Yes. Mm.
because we still have radiation coming down and toxic rain, and then the water is toxic and you can't eat the food that you just tried to grow, and all of these things. You're kind of dealing with the fallout of what you've done to the environment, and
Yes.
trying to get past that.
Yeah, right. And the video game is, of course, a video game, like most video games, they are very detailed because a lot of the number crunching can be done by, yeah, the computer, by the machine. And
Yes.
so, in a way, if you take a closer look at Endzone, it it could be a board game, like it's set up that you're starting small and then you're growing your place. But for you, Evan, of course there are quite a few, let's call them problems or
Yeah.
issues,
Sure.
by transforming a very detailed video game to a board game. So what are some of the issues you're facing?
Yes. Well, so ultimately you're distilling something that you could be playing for, 20, 40, 60, 100 hours. You have to take an experience that could be, this big, with all these details, and distill it into something that you want people to sit around a table for 1 hour and have somewhat of a similar experience, um, or at least close to a similar experience. And so you do have to distill the essence of what's going on in the video game in order to have it work as a board game.
Yes.
So, instead of 15 unique, interesting, different resources and things, you kind of have to go, whoop, those,
Yes.
those, those are two resources.
Yeah.
There's food and there's water, you know.
Yeah.
You kind of have to distill things, but then the trick is to keep what is interesting about the differences that were in the video game
Yeah.
with but keeping it very singular as far as the actual cubes that you're moving around.
Yeah, I agree. This is really the major task, and what I've seen so far. So I've looked at a TDS prototype Evan did. It looks really good. So great work by Evan, because this is not easy. You don't want to lose the essence of the game, but you don't want to. You can't have these conversion rates of 27 is converted to 15 of this. It's not good for the board game experience for
Right.
sure, especially because we want to be in this 60 to 90 minutes time range. So this
Hmm.
is not an 8-hour board game which
Right.
includes everything. And maybe this is also a good opportunity at this point. What we both, Evan and I, like very much is the how both Assemble, the publisher, and Gently Mad Studios, the developer of the video game, how they see environmental issues and their attitude to the climate crisis, to put it in this way. And so lots of you know, if you Kickstarter, crowdfund a game, a good idea to make more money is to put lots of plastic pieces in there, miniatures and this and this, and people are saying, wow, this is excellent, look at this, this looks outstanding. Yeah, we all know this, but it was,
Hmm.
we all together have decided, and that we don't want to do this with Endzone, because it would be directly opposite to what Assemble and what Gently Mad stand for, and also Evan and Spielworks stand for. So we will, if at all possible, nobody knows what the production issues will be in the future, but if we
Yeah.
can, we will produce a game in Europe and but we get to this in a second, just use cardboard and wooden pieces. So this is
Hmm.
our um, what we really are committed to, if at all possible. Yeah, and
Hmm.
yeah, and we all know also that even with just cardboard pieces, tiles, whatever, you can do a lot. For
Yeah.
example, an example that a lot of you have probably heard and seen is the bird feeder in Wingspan. This
Yes.
is cardboard, although the game has a lot of plastics. In my opinion, way too much plastics. And but this is a different issue. But you can do nice pieces by 3D cardboard tiles. So
Yeah.
if it is helpful for the design or for the game, and it increases the table presence of the game, we will do so. But we will stay away, if at all possible, from plastic components here. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's very much in line with the essence of the game,
Yes.
and the message of the game. And in addition to that, it's actually a very kind of just, from my own selfish perspective, it's a very interesting design um, challenge to know what your limitations are and to know we're only using cardboard and wood.
Yes. Hmm.
Right. And it helps kind of shape the challenge that I have in front of me, which I really enjoy that as a designer. It helps bring out my creativity.
Hmm. Yeah, it's. I think, as I said so far, you're doing great here. And so you mentioned this game is semi-cooperative. So the game basically can win. The world can really win over
Yes.
us people trying to survive. So how is this in the game? So when is the
Yeah.
game over, basically?
Yeah. So yeah, if we have too much, disagreement and argument with ourselves, then essentially we lose and humanity fails. Right? So we have to work together in order to succeed. And the way this plays out mechanically in the board game is there are three tracks that each player has a little marker on. You have confidence and health and military, and you need a certain amount of each of those things to survive. Because there are other groups of humans that try to attack sometimes, and these sorts of things where you need a certain amount of military, you need a certain amount of health because there's lots of radiation around and people get sick and there is illness and contagion, and you need to make sure that your people are healthy. So you need to work together to make sure that and then confidence, you have to make sure that you're leading people well in a way that is respectful,
Yes.
and doesn't make them want to revolt and or give up their humanity. So you have to work together to make sure that not that on any one of those tracks, if all of the players fall too low because of too much infighting, the game ends. Like if everybody has too low of confidence, then there's a revolt and the
Yeah.
game's over.
Yeah.
If everybody has too low of health,
Yeah.
well, we all get sick and die. If
Yes.
everybody has too, so we have to work together to make sure that all of the players are at least at a certain level so that we can survive. And
Yeah.
then, yeah,
No, no, please go on.
yeah. And then similarly, if any one player gets too low on a track, then that's also over because it is cooperative and we do have to work together to survive. And so if one player reaches the bottom of one of those tracks, then it affects everyone
Yeah.
negatively.
Yeah, I agree. These are great features, and we are getting here support from the chat. Chris from the UK is saying, I approve of the wood, cardboard, and no plastic approach. And Andre from Germany is saying, yes,
Good.
he's also supporting this. And yeah, I think it's a right way to do. But because the game is semi-cooperative, so let's say very basic here, we need food, and
Yes.
you build something where we can, yeah, process food, but I
Mhm.
can also, a different player, I can use this. Most of this can be used by me too, so it's not that you as a player are using it alone, so everybody can do so, right?
Yes, I've got some amount. So it is semi-cooperative in the sense that there are certain tiles that are mine, and there are certain tiles that are yours. But there are also certain tiles that everyone can use. And if I have a tailor that's mine, but I walk away because I need to go get some food, that tailor shop is sitting there. And then if Uli happens to need to make some protective clothing, he can send a worker over to the tailor shop because I'm not there, right? There's enough space for one player to work there, and I'm not there. So Uli can come over and start making protective clothing in the tailor shop that I had built because we're working together, right? And then there are other buildings that can handle more than one player there at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, I think this is also a very neat feature, and but the actions are done not, or are not decided by the group but by individual players. So let's
Yes.
say, staying with this food example, let's say we as a group need more food, and
Mhm.
the three other players are telling me, and this is also good for table talk, of course, they are telling me, Uli, please get us more food. But if I'm thinking, "Ah, it will work out in some way, I can do whatever I'm doing. So, of course, it may work out, but it may not work out. But this is
Yes.
the beauty of the genre of semi-cooperative, cooperative games, that you have automatically a lot of table talk and a lot of interaction at the table at a certain level. It's not just because of the mechanics. And this I also enjoy in Endzone, World Apart, the board game, very much. Yeah, it's a good
Good.
feature in my opinion. Yeah.
Good. I'm
Um,
very glad to hear that.
yeah, you're doing a great job. Anything else that you would like to mention at this point, Evan?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Just, it's an honor to work on this. I've obviously played the video game, and it's very inspiring, and I love, all. I love all the message in it, and just so much amazing vision and detail in the video game. Um, and it's been a real pleasure to try to essentialize that into a a 60-minute playable tabletop experience. I can't. I don't know if I can ever quite do the video game justice, but I'm definitely trying.
Yeah, but if you would copy it or try to bring everything to the board game table, it would be a disaster. So I think
That's true.
you are doing a great job here. So Endzone right now is in design at the design stage. We will go to more broader testing maybe late this month. So definitely after Essen, we will take a look at this. We are in close contact with Gently Met with the studios. We will use, of course, the graphics from the video game, which are fantastic. So please check out the link. So wonderful graphics, and
Yeah.
then we'll see how fast we can finish the project from our side, and then it's going into production, and we'll see how soon this will be. The sooner the better, but
Yeah.
we are not trying to rush it,
Right.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. So I think this is it for the moment. Of course, at the Spielworks website, there will be a lot more info the more we are doing. There will be certainly test opportunities via TTS in the future. And so your support and your input is really needed here as well. So we are really glad if you could support us by
Mhm.
testing the game in the future. And yeah, thank you to all viewers here for your time. And Evan, thank you very much on a Saturday that you
Of
made your
course.
time available for this. We stay in touch anyway on this project. I'm really excited about this, and we are talking here, continue at ConWorxx at in 22 minutes, which is 8 p.m. CET. And we are having Chris here at my guest, and he will talk about his company. And till then, hopefully you enjoyed this talk. And yeah, bye bye. See you soon.
Bye bye. Thanks everybody out there.